Okay, it's 8:10. Morning, everybody. Let's call this to order. Do we have any public comments? Any public comments? Any public comments? All right, discuss and consider new ambulance director job description. And so, thanks for doing this, Abby.
Yep.
Here's the one.
What is that big a deal, the rest day for her, so.
Printed it. Anyway, I worked on it yesterday and what's the deal here? Should be done. Yeah, we got that. So do you have any, want to go through it line by line, see if the changes there? What would you like to do?
I'd like to start out with the pay grade.
Yeah.
Just a thought, but we're combining two jobs. Should we be having an initial higher wage? Depends on if you want to get a qualified person or
Right.
somebody.
No, I think I checked with Washington County, I think it's paying around, I had 90, and I think Lee is too. I
Lee
haven't heard
County?
of anybody paying less than 90.
And that's for doing both positions.
No, that's our director. I think they have different.
Uh-huh. I just think we might want to come back to that because, or maybe put that.
Well, I think we
different-
need to have a minimum, but negotiable maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But not just say the 80,000, you know.
oh, yeah. Let's add minimum on that.
Because Abby might want to apply.
As long as you have a rest day.
Or Lee, but he would be less.
You want to add negotiable too, or just minimum?
I would say negotiable. Or depends on qualifications, something like that. Depends on experience and qualifications.
Yeah, unless you want to just set it, then I honestly don't think we'll find anybody for less than.
I don't either.
Okay. Director responsible for day-to-day operations and administration of Jefferson County Ambulance Service and supports countywide first responder service and the County Emergency Medical Service Association. Plans, organizes, coordinates, and evaluates functioning of ambulance services, conducts training and supervision of staff in order. How that conducts training and would it be supervisor staff? Seems like that's not reading right.
Conducts training and staff supervision in order
Okay.
to ensure delivery of consistent and high quality.
And staff supervision.
Thank you, Tom.
Represents department and county at local, regional, and state meetings. Essential duties and responsibilities. The following duties are normal for this position. These duties are not to be construed as exclusive or less specific list, and other duties may be required and assigned by the Board of Supervisors. Susie, you want to read that administrative section?
Responsible to comply with all state and federal rules and regulations pertaining to applicable ambulance and EMS services, and complies with all regulations of the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services, Bureau of Emergency and Trauma Services. Prepares and manages the budget. Prepares and presents regular reports to the Board of Supervisors. Plans for future equipment and personnel needs. Communicates timely, accurate information to the Board of Supervisors, the medical director, EMS, and the state of Iowa. purchases equipment, materials, and supplies in accordance with the budget and cost effectiveness determines long-range capital equipment needs. Prepares bid specification. Reviews bids and purchases equipment in consultation with the Board of Supervisors. Effectively work, or it should be effectively works, or to effectively work with county, city, and hospital officials, patients, staff, and the public. Promptly handles complaints and/or concerns and communicates these to the Board of Supervisors immediately. Other related duties or assignments are required, or no, as required or directed.
Don't we have that above?
Yeah, we do.
So you want to take that one out?
I would.
Haley, you want to read operations?
Develops written protocols, policies, and procedures, organizes, coordinates, and evaluates all functions of the ambulance services, responsible for patient care, staffing, program planning, maintenance of vehicles, equipment, and facilities, ensures emergency vehicles and equipment are maintained and repaired, including rib maintenance checks, cot maintenance, medication checks, and ordering supplies in a timely fashion. Ensures safety and efficiency in the workplace, submits policies to the state for approval, ensures scheduled needs are met, ensures ambulance building and grounds are cleaned and maintained, handles employee discipline issues according to employee handbook.
Okay, crew members, encourages input from all crew members, provides leadership, support, and assistance with any concerns regarding ambulance services. Communicates effective performance measurements for each crew member, coordinates training for new staff, conducts or assists with the training as necessary, addresses personnel issues, and don't we have that? Training and professional manner. It seems like there's still some duplication in here. Schedules continuing education training, session for paramedics, EMTs, emergency medical responders, and billing staff, and offers at an S support to first responder units. Okay, hang on, let's go above, because that's up or above. In that purpose of possession, of course, I guess that might just detail it more.
So that last bullet under crew members, I take that as what it says as to whoever this person is, they're gonna be the ones setting up training for everybody. Is that what you want?
Well, I just need to see that it gets done.
Mm,
We've got conducts training up above.
mhm. I think simpler would be better.
Seems like it's covered in the first paragraph where it says conducts training.
Mhm. I agree with that.
So you want to take that out?
Yes, it would.
Okay, Lee, last bullet point out.
Which one you taking out?
The last bullet point in crew members, because it's basically up above in the primary purpose of the position. But make sure it works for you. Okay. Billing and accounts payable. Did you take that last bullet point out then?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Manages the ambulance department, vehicles, accounts receivable and billing. Available to the community for billing questions. Required knowledge, abilities and skills. Want to read that section, Susie?
Knowledgeable of all state and federal rules and regulations pertaining to ambulance and EMS delivery. Serves as a paramedic and responds to emergency calls as necessary. Positive leader that takes initiative, develops ideas, and problem solves. Supervise staff and ensure safety in the workplace. Attend safety committee meeting.
And then the qualifications, we've got that, that's the same as last time. Minimum training and experience required, 2 to 4 years supervisory or management experience preferred. In EMS, including experience with employee relations, conflict resolutions, and critical thinking skills. Paramedic license and 4+ years active experience working in paramedics. Prior experience working with rural ambulance service operations. Valid Iowa class D3 driver's license or equivalent and proof of insurance. Okay,
I got a question.
yeah,
What is D3?
It's a chauffeur's license. It's a chauffeur's license.
It's not required in the state of Iowa anymore.
No, it's not.
oh, we can take that out then.
Good to
So they
know.
just need a driver's license?
Yeah, they just need a valid driver's license. And you have to have a chauffeur's license.
Thank you.
An Iowa license, or I know you've got some folks from out of county or out of state that works there. Do they have an Iowa license?
Not a driver's license.
Okay.
Because it's got our equivalent, so as long as they have a driver's license.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Just had to
And
ask.
when we do background checks, we check all of that.
All right. Who wants to read physical and mental abilities?
I'll do it. Language ability. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this one. Language ability and interpersonal communication. Ability to exhibit energetic and creative personality with high ethical standards and appropriate professional image. Must be detail oriented and possess good communication skills. Stu, do you want to finish this one?
I think we,
I sure do. I can step in.
I don't even know how you
Fluent in,
determine a creative personality. I think that needs to go.
fluid, well, there are ways. Fluid, no, excuse me, I got my
Let's get rid
lead.
of some words here.
Fluent in the English language and able to read, well, duh. Analyze and interpret general business periodicals, professional journals, technical procedures, and governmental regulations. Ability to effectively present information and respond to questions and situations, clients, providers, regional staff, representatives of other agencies. That might be changed a little bit.
Yeah, I think we need to rework this.
How about instead of responding to questions, able to address situations involving blah, 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 blah. Judgment and situational reasoning ability to use functional reasoning and apply rational judgment in dealing with the patients and the general public. Deal with problems involving several variables in a variety of situations. Ability to work in fast-paced, demanding work environment with people of all temperaments and skill levels.
I think this section has too many words in it.
Oh, yeah. You want me to keep reading?
No.
Okay.
Let's go back to language ability and interpersonal communication. Number one, I don't know how you're ever gonna measure a creative personality, so that needs to go.
Well, I,
Just the creative part. Ability to exhibit energetic and creative personality.
Yeah, both of them. I mean, I think that holds. Yeah, we can ask Jack for some ideas. How about just possess good communication skills? That's what it says, and that's at the end of the sentence. Is that saying what we want? I think we're getting too far in the weeds here.
Coin a phrase from Pat McAvan, less is more.
I know.
Yeah.
Demonstrates good communication skills. How about that? And then that could also go in the same paragraph as fluent in English language. Um. Can we just do presents information and responds to questions? And the rest of that sentence. Trying to get rid of it.
Now, ability to effectively.
Right,
That sounds good.
presents information and responds to questions. Got rid of that, just demonstrates that.
Yep.
Okay. Um. Can we
Sorry.
just put deals with problems involving several variables in a variety of situations? An ability to work in fast paced and the rest of that sentence.
I was just looking at physical requirements and had a chuckle.
That leaves me out. I can't apply for the job.
Walk and chew gum
Yeah.
at the same time.
Okay, me too.
Well,
Um, under judgment and situational reasoning. That first sentence either needs rewritten or done away with. Open to ideas or suggestions.
well, I actually think
I think it's
in the
okay.
above section that I couldn't form without Susie's help.
Right, that
Most of that stuff is actually in there.
Yeah,
I think you could, the judgment and situational reason, I say, I can't even say it, so it needs to be, the entire bullet point needs struck.
yeah, I agree. Seems a little wordy. So get rid of that whole sentence,
I just get rid of the whole thing,
the judgment and situational.
yeah,
Okay,
because it's, the fact, the bottom line says the same thing as the top one, just uses different language.
right? No, that's why I mean, we've combined two, so there's some redundancy and we're still finding some. We got rid of some the other day.
Are we down to fiscal requirements yet?
Couldn't wait for that one, could
Can't
you?
wait for it.
Okay, go.
Well, what sounds wrong with this? Ability to coordinate eyes, hands, feet, and limbs in performing skilled movements required by the requirements of this classification. What it says.
I couldn't even read the damn words on the page, so I'm screwed from the get-go.
How about ability to perform the job in all kinds of situations? Either that or put left foot, right foot down.
Yeah, you could just put the ability to perform all the requirements of this classification.
Yeah,
Period.
Yeah.
Okay,
am I keeping going here? Ability to exert moderate physical activity involving sitting, walking, and occasional bending, talking, hearing, stooping, crouching, lifting, holding, and carrying a variety of objects, and exposure to injury as possible.
I can see those qualifications, see it?
keep going.
I'm still thinking about what I just read. Horizontal and vertical reaching motion is required. Ability to lift a minimum of 50 pounds.
And I think that's pretty standard.
It is.
What all is done in the physical that the hospital provides on our behalf?
They do walking upstairs, going backwards, bending, lifting.
So we're within the context.
Talking.
Talking, yeah. Verbal communication. Ow, that hurts.
bricks and stuff like that.
Okay, and you've got here under physical requirements. Oh, environmental, no, it's the same thing. It's just putting
Yeah.
it under environmental.
Yeah.
How about if we combine physical, put physical and environmental conditions, because that,
That sounds really good.
because there's only one sentence under that one, and it's basically saying the same thing.
Correct.
So use this one under here, under environment, and get rid of this long sentence you just read.
Oh, yeah.
All right, work environment. Describe below where typical work environment characteristics encountered while performing the essential function of the position. Reasonable accommodations may be made to allow individuals with disabilities to perform the essential functions of the position. Exposure to prolonged or intermittent exertion, exposure to severe weather elements. Understand the potential for exposure to hazardous drugs exists and agrees to use PPE to reduce personal exposure. Understands that exposure to hazardous drugs can have an impact on conception, pregnancy, and breastfeeding, and agrees to inform manager immediately in the case of pregnancy, breastfeeding, or attempting to become pregnant.
Okay, so
How do you,
I got a couple
can
of
we do
questions
that?
here.
Yeah,
One, going back up to just where it says describe below. It says reasonable accommodations may be made to allow individuals with disabilities to perform the essential functions of the position. Now, I don't misunderstand how this sounds. But I don't know how you can, I don't know what are we talking about when we're talking about reasonable accommodations for those who have disabilities to perform that service when you're out there?
Well, I'm sitting here thinking, Lee, that obviously, don't you think the physical would bring that out when they do a physical?
Well,
Because
right.
if they can't, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole purpose of them doing the physical and having to pass the physical
okay.
with, so that they have the ability to perform the essential functions of the position.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we don't need to do a physical because we're gonna, you see what I'm saying?
yeah,
I'm not saying that there isn't jobs within the organization that folks can do that have some physical disabilities, but I'm not sure providing paramedic level services in the field if they
Right.
can't pass the physical.
We just think of a very good way to say this.
Yeah,
That you have to pass a physical.
right. So it's not redundant, but it's counterintuitive if you
Yep.
have to pass the physical. If you can't pass the physical, then you don't get the job.
Right. Yeah, your wording needs to be where you
Must
don't
pass it,
eliminate
yeah.
anybody.
Must pass a general physical that encompasses the needs.
And then here's the other thing I have on the bottom, I have concerns. I understand the exposure to hazardous drugs can have an impact on conception, pregnancy, so on and so forth. But what is the county's policy in regards to, I mean, you say here that you must inform
right.
if you're attempting to become pregnant. Okay,
You're okay. You'll be okay.
yeah, well, yeah, okay.
I think we would
But
ask
my
Chauncey about
point,
that
my
wording.
point is that what is our response to that going to be?
Where else?
Right,
You know, I mean. Do we
We didn't
take
do
them off the
anything different.
schedule?
No.
No, they were.
I had a gal that used to work for me at Midwest that she worked until the Sunday before she popped her baby out.
Right, but what I'm saying is we're saying here that we need to inform the manager immediately in the case of pregnancy, breastfeeding, or attempting to become pregnant, and then it's not. So why do we need to be immediately informed? And in that context, what is our role or responsibility as a county? Once we've been informed of that, do we assume liability for that if we continue to work them? I think that that's.
Judy, can I ask you a question? In those situations, or anybody in this room, in those situations, I'm sure they should inform you that they have some kind of a issue, whether it's pregnancy or can't talk, something like that.
Something
Yeah.
wrong.
But how would you proceed with that? I mean, would you limit them? Would you put them on light duty?
I mean, it varies from person to person, actually. I mean, unless their doctor puts them on light duty,
Right.
Okay,
they should be able to function the job, pregnancy. is
so
pregnant.
I think you're saying
Yeah, I mean.
we
they
would
should-
need a doctor's statement and we would have to follow what that
Yes, we
doctor
have to
says.
follow that.
But, okay, and I'm okay with that. I guess what I'm asking is, so they inform you immediately that they are pregnant or attempting to become pregnant, do they then sign a waiver?
You know, so everybody in the room needs to inform, let's say Judy's the boss and we're all here. We all need to inform her if we're trying to become pregnant. Think about that.
Well, that's what I'm just saying what
I
it
think that
says.
last
I
I
line,
think that probably.
let's just
should
get
come
rid of
out.
that
It's
last
not my
line.
business, or
Yeah,
it's
no.
nobody's business if you're trying to have a baby. Once you become pregnant, you might want to tell
Right.
your employer, so then if something does arise, you know.
And safety protocols will make sure she wears gloves.
Yeah.
Well, and the individual can say, during this pregnancy, I want off the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, they
Well, of
can make
course.
that decision and, but like I said, pregnancy is not.
Not a handicap.
Not a
And
handicap.
Would be a
See,
violation.
somebody just won the Des Moines half marathon and she's pregnant.
Yeah. I mean, there may be, things that, you may have to adjust.
Right, and if you get a doctor's excuse, you accommodate it.
Accommodate, yeah.
Let's get that last bullet point, just strike that, because I think it's pretty well spoken to above. When it just says understand, that should probably be an S, understands the potential for exposure to hazardous drugs, leave that,
Did you get all of that,
Bullet point.
Abby? You did?
Good.
just good.
She is.
Hazards and atmospheric conditions precaution must be followed when working in any healthcare environment. This position could anticipate the following potentially hazardous conditions. And then I lost them. So. Right. So you wanna
Can I
update?
go back over what? Just so I got everything, okay, on the pay grade, 8,000 minimum, negotiable on experience and qualifications. We're taking or changing around some words in that primary purpose position to say conducts training and staff supervision. We're taking out the last bullet point of administrative. And then the second to last bullet point, we're changing the word work to works. We're taking out the last bullet point on crew members. On the minimum training and experience on page 2, we're taking out class B3. Language ability and interpersonal communication. We're taking out most of the first point, but saying demonstrates good communication skills and adding that to the second bullet point. The third bullet point, we're saying presents information in response to. We're taking out everything under judgment and situational ability, situational reasoning ability. Physical requirements and environmental conditions. The first point, ability to perform all requirements of this classification. Leaving that third bullet point and adding, like I said, those two together. Under work environment, third bullet point understands, taking out the last bullet point. And that's what I have.
Yep, good job.
And you thought you had a rest day.
All right, so I think this ought to go to Jeff before we finally approve it. If you make those changes and get that to us, we can send it to Tam and maybe put it on the agenda for Monday, please. Or to approve. unless we come up with anything else between you.
Agenda item 1 and 2, we're putting on for
But,
the 13th.
yeah. Does that work? Okay. Okay, consider bids to evaluate the processes and operations of county ambulance service. You have this. And we'll look at any of these again. This one was out. It was to Susan.
What?
Do you want to look at any of these?
No. But thank you.
I looked at them the other day.
Yeah, I did.
I called Washington County Supervisor yesterday and asked, and he said, yeah, it's gonna be well spent, and they learned a lot. And theirs cost 15,000. But they did
The audit.
without it. Um, what are your thoughts? This one. So it's pretty good.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
If you already kind of know what you three are going to do, why would we waste the money now?
I don't, because we want to do a snapshot in time. The audit seems to be a good practice.
Wouldn't you do it at a year? So you have a year under your belt? Because you're mid-year, I mean, they haven't 7 months. I mean, usually, audits are considered on an annual basis.
I think it's just prudent to do that when you have a staff turnover.
Julie, I realize.
That is different than doing it to see if you're being efficient. If you're looking for something, that's different.
I don't think we're looking, we just want to see how things are, and it's a logical time.
Julie, I think we need to see maybe how things on any part of this could have been done better. And this service is really, I believe Brian started last year in April. I believe Judy came on in May, June, okay. So it's not just 7 months,
Hmm.
Well, let's start with how you make the determination here. Obviously, the one bid that you had was in the atmosphere as far as dollars go.
Oh, yeah, I
Okay,
guess.
so now you've got a bid.
Can you say what the bids are?
Yeah,
She's got there, yeah.
one's, I think we talked about this the other day, one was 47,000, that one's definitely out. One is, what is it, 11, I think?
11.
And one is 10 to 15, and that one was also made public a week ago before the bids went out again, so.
Okay, so just strictly looking at, and I'm not in favor of any of this, but
I
just
know that.
strictly looking at the dollars. You have a bid that's 47,000. Obviously, that's
Too high.
over the top. You have a bid that's 11,000, and then you have a bid that has a range. I don't know how you can take the bid that has a range if you decide to do this.
Yes, I don't either. I think you need to go with a
Not a
solid
bid, it's
number, a solid number. Yeah, it's an estimate, not
It's
a
an
bid.
estimate, not a bid.
Right. Now, that being said, I just wanted to,
Or we could just accept it for 10 and say, no more. 11,
Then you're
But you
given
don't have a bid for
different
10.
parameters.
right. And you have a bid for X amount of dollars on two of those bids.
Right, you don't have a bid for 10. You can't accept
And
something
if-
you don't
so
have.
If you go, to my way of thinking, and maybe this is a question for the attorney fellow. My way of thinking, you got a bid for a specific amount, and you accept a bid that has a $5,000 variance in it. I'm not sure that that's
a
legal.
bit,
Mhm.
good question.
Everyone should have the opportunity then to go ahead and give you a range then.
Right,
I was just thinking, should we reopen the bids?
Well, I mean, that's, I guess, up to you. You know where my position is.
yeah,
So
I don't know why you would do that unless you're trying to get to that person. Just saying,
Well, Julian, if you would reopen bids and say, we don't want a range, we want a specific amount, go.
right, but you should have gotten back to him immediately and said that, we need a bid. I mean,
Yeah, to me,
you've been
that-
sitting on
By
that
getting
bid
back
for
to
a
somebody like that
long time.
and saying, oh, you need to up or you need to lower it, I guess that's kind of smart.
my
of you.
question is that actually a new bid?
What do you
What do
mean?
you mean?
Did they
Well, that
submit
was
it
the
after the
original
second?
amount that,
It's just
that,
the one from the other day, just written on the bid, I think.
Yeah, I mean, so
Is it what
when he
was-
gave the proposal, he should have been contacted back, say we're taking bids, so we just need a firm bid now.
because if you remember, when we did the window, when we received the offer from an individual to do the windows at Public Health, there was this dollar amount there. And Chauncey said, you need to bid that. And that individual did not rebid. So therefore, his original.
Oh, yeah, this is a bid, but
Yeah.
it was, but you got a good point with the range, yeah.
Well, my question is, did that individual rebid or is that, okay,
Yeah, it's
So-
not the,
So you've got two from this person.
yeah,
right, okay.
What do you mean we got two from this person?
it was just, before it was
Since
a
we got-
letter,
Okay,
and now it was in the bid format.
okay.
So it was the same thing, only in
Okay.
bid format. So, and we don't have to act on either one if we don't want to. Like the main thing is to get the, job description done,
And posted.
get a good director, they can find what they find too.
Well, I mean, you're going through a process now. Whether that ultimately ultimately, that's why I can't do the language and skills
I
thing.
noticed that.
Okay, ultimately, in the end, whether or not that ends up being your barometer, I don't know. But to kind of piggyback on what Julie was saying. We essentially, because of the staff change, are starting over in some respects.
Correct.
And we can
And-
just go with that too.
And we're asking for specific things from the quote
Okay.
interim
I
administrator.
have to wrap up, I gotta know.
Okay,
Excuse me. So if nobody wants to make a motion, we can just not act on it.
I do agree that, I don't want to see a range, I just like to see an amount.
And
I know that we've been given another chance to get it right. So. Got to proceed very cautious.
so what do you want? So no action today?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so you want to adjourn? That's it on the agenda.
Yeah, is it adjourn on our agenda? Do we want to do?
We typically adjourn.
I see.
Why don't you make a
It's
motion?
Whether we want to do it through claims and.
Reports.
We don't have claims on today.
Okay,
I'm gonna make
What?
a motion to adjourn.
second.
Good for you.
All in favor, aye. Thanks, everybody.